Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast for me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda Hero Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here to a 1v1 with my co-host, Basil the Kitty Cat, currently staring at me. Here on Amilly Fields in the north, it is Breakalegs, the one, the only leg breaker. Ow, Basil, stop attacking my hand, you stupid cat. I know he's fighting here for the Red Army, not attacking my hand, but that is Basil the Kitty Cat doing that. Here with the 12th Guards Mechanized Corps with Guard Rifle Defensive Tactics and Sword Reserve Army. In the south it is Tonkatsu fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with Spearhead, Mechanized and Encirclement. Forming up with the... let's just go with the Brandenburger Panzergrenadier Division here. We got Grenadier Coh2 for Tonkatsu, double comes there for Breakalegs, and as always a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them, the Propagandacast would be impossible, and Basil would have to go somewhere else, yeah. So big thanks to all those. Other people can join the ranks by Patreon. They can donate via PayPal, or then of course just comment, like, share, subscribe. Keep things going there in terms of YouTube algorithms. Basil being particularly naughty right now, not entirely sure what's gone into him. We got triple content there for Breakalegs, double grenadiers there for Tonkatsu. Bit of a spread out approach here for Tonkatsu, though of course with the main effort towards the southern fuel point. We got Breakalegs similarly putting a bit more efforts towards the western fuel point here, with his two conscript squads ready in case the Germans try and push hard there. So, otherwise quiet. Basil, stop biting, you stupid cat. God. Ow. Basil's being a very naughty kitty right now. Sandbags in the centre here from Breakalegs. On the west side here we got country with the sandbags as well there. In the centre here, German infantry move, two grenadier squads ready with their Kar-90K bolt action rifles. There we go. Just going to grab Basil up here so maybe he can calm down a bit. Guess he wants to cuddle and is annoyed he can't get to cuddle. I don't know. He can be a bit of a naughty kitty from time to time. Naughty kitty. But in the skirmish around the centre, there's two squads from each side sort of get bogged. But there you go. Tonkatsu with the MG42 there rhyming on the scene. Quickest press on the conscript turn their position much less safer as, you know, somewhere between 900 to 1200 rounds, but it's going straight into the back. We've got a third grenadier squad there for Tonkatsu. So far, fairly standard builds from both sides. 3 grenadiers, MG42, 3 conscript grenadiers there from Breakalegs. Grenadiers in the centre of the conscript there now, of course, taking advantage of the chaos on the right flank. Course, engineers, he's trying to push through the centre, but actually doing so, oh dear, he's setting up machine towards the east side to even the engineers, but that means the conscript theory could overwhelm the MG42, but no, it doesn't happen there. Slight comedy of error there in the west. MD4 engineers continuing up there. Grenadiers push back, but there's another squad moving. There's still the M42 turning around to deal here with Breakalegs forces, forcing one squad away. The other one's forced to sort of conduct a more tactical retreat here. Back at base, no tech yet for Tonkatsu. Is he planning more grenadiers? Yes, he is. A full grenadier build here for Tonkatsu. Going hard in the infantry, pulling into the full force here of the 5th Panzer Grenadier Company here as Breakalegs keeps up the assaults for the glory of the Red Army and the Soviet peoples. MG42, they're pushing back the Soviets in the centre there with the backing of a lot of infantry. Hitting carve points here and there, though in the west side, not too important carve points there for Tonkatsu. No commander yet, though. I feel like the way things are going, it's going to be Guard Rifle here for Breakalegs, and the other ones, well, it could also be defensive, but Sword Reserve Army kind of wants you to, like, you know, commit a bit heavier to the conscripts here, so probably Guard Rifle, but could still be some reserve army or defensive. Pioneers here, wiring off the sandbags on the 79 here, east defensive strong point there for Breakalegs. So pushing back here, continuing eastwards, going to probably try and make a push for the eastern fuel point, which is quite not wide open. Mines going off in the west by the side of it. Yes, indeed, Friedrich and Ludwig die out there, and we got Jürgen there being cut of ribbons there by Konstantin's expert marksmanship there. Well, expert marksmanship for an engineer. Grenadiers close being wiped out here. Mine there, Devon course paying off big time. Contra being held up. Engineers flanking in there. No flamethrowers yet for Breakalegs. He's still flanking about there. Counter reinforcing here. On the west side here, Grenadiers almost wiped out there as Breakalegs leads a successful socialist assault. And there you go, more mines here, more cashing, and a full wipe! Wow! That was pretty devious. It's almost like he'd planned his opponent to hit in there and then retreat into the other set of mines. Brutal, yet efficient. Obviously 60 munitions, but 60 munitions for like a German Grenadier squad gone is like pretty good. But also worth noting, Tonkatsu actually countered the 4th Grenadier squad for an additional Pioneer squad. That's actually been an interesting shift in builds there by Tonkatsu. Tech down there, but no light to mechanized company. We'll need to replace that infantry. Pioneers still overwhelming engineers just narrowly here. And the MU-42 still going overwhelmed here in the east side as well there. We got a deep flank here by Breakalegs. Good maneuverability on the map here versus his fascist opponent. Another Grenadier squad to make up for the losses. Could have gone for Panzer Grenadiers here, or even gone for encirclement for some Stormtroopers. But, you know, Grenadiers will... Oh, we do get Panzer Grenadiers. Thumbs up. Vessel will give a thumbs up as well if he had thumbs. But he doesn't. Thankfully. Otherwise, things in my refrigerator would never be safe. Grenadiers with the conscripts there. Field gun on the way there for Breakalegs. This is 3rd edition field gun. Noted for being a fairly easy to move out there, and so popular because of it. That said, it didn't have amazing anti-tank penetration compared to other tanks like the Pak-40, and would actually struggle, if not completely, have a hard time and couldn't penetrate Panthers and Tiger tanks even at close ranges. Like to make a nice company for Tonkatsu, but again, it was a fairly light anti-tank gun for its size, so of course could also double as artillery. Gonna use for the continent east side here. And fun fact, the CIS 3 edition field gun would inspire the German Feldkanonenvierzig, which is basically a Pak-40 that could also be anchored upwards to double as artillery. Fun fact there. Gears comes from the English here. And of course, the key part there in divisional field gun was it wasn't just an anti-tank at the front line, it would also actually take part in artillery roles, where the Soviets basically operate on the concept, you stick as many tubes together of different kinds and then just fire them in the general direction of the enemy. So it was, you know, fairly heavily used gun. It was actually captured in many examples by the Germans that would actually put them to use as well there. Having, of course, rechambered them for German ammunition. They would even use them on the Marder series, specifically the Marder 2, would use captured CIS 3 edition field guns. Much to the surprise of the English, who actually thought the Germans by that point had managed to put the Flak 88 on a tank destroyer. Anyways, barbed wire here, tech there, tank in command, that'll probably be a T-7 here for Breakalegs. Grenadiers and center with the conscripts, the Frontovics. We do get the 2-2 there for Tonkatsu. He did end up cancelling the Panthers for the Grenadier squad. Yeah, again, I would like to see some Panzer Grenadiers. I feel like they're fairly overlooked units, but obviously, again, it's not because the Grenadiers are bad as such. Light machine there for Tonkatsu. MB-40 then use at close ranges, contributing in there, taking Grenadiers as they move towards the eastern fuel point. Of course, Breakalegs with this is definitely getting a bit of a field lead over his opponent. Very good for him. Less great for Tonkatsu. And center Grenadiers holding active troops. There you go. Flamethrower team moving in there. And of course, while he can't focus them down, the conscripts just quickly move in and merge with them. So this is not a great situation. Honestly, Tonkatsu should probably just end up retreating here before it suffers any unnecessary losses. There we go. T's in the way there for Breakalegs. We do get the armored car out. But Tonkatsu will need another armored car. Or a Pak-40 here to deal with that T-70. Pioneers heading westwards. The Pioneer squad fire with minesweepers as well. Obviously, fairly concerned by now about the Breakalegs' tendency towards laying down a lot of mines, which of course is very sensible. Would certainly be a bit bad for Tonkatsu to lose another entire unit to mines. West side Pioneers assaulting the conscript squad. 2 Pioneer squads together in 1 minesweeper actually have a good chance against the conscripts if they all get in close. Though of course, keep in mind you have to get them close, because the DPS on the MP40 submachine gun drops off very sharply, which can cause some problems with MP40 units in general, not just Pioneers, but assault grenadiers and stormtroopers. Like, you know, they do have a tendency of staggering the formation in very awkward ways, meaning the DPS really can at times be a bit wonky there. Pak-40 away for Tonkatsu and does end up being pushed back due to the Molotov there tossed by Breakalegs conscripts, and he's being pursued by the T-70. He does get off a Pantherfaust, which will give his Pak-40, once it arrives, a chance to maybe deal with it. That said, I think that is very unlikely, as the T-70 will be able to escape here before that happens. And he's pushed back the east, field gun there, providing excellent artillery support. Maximum machine gun there for Breakalegs. Armored car they're being fixed up, troops reinforcing healing. Of course, got the medic bunker up there. Base in the west, he could lay down some flare mines here. Yep. And now, of course, he's using his opponent's sandbags here because, you know, very likely his opponent will try and use the sandbags in the future engagements. That's very sneaky there by Breakalegs and also just very efficient. Like, sometimes your opponent will just make it very obvious to you where you should mine. And again, that includes just sandbags. So, bit of a piece of advice there. If you're like ever wondering where should I mine, if you know your opponent's laying down sandbags, wow, that's a pretty good place to mine. Noting, of course, we've still got no commander in, particularly not even for Breakalegs. You'd figure at this point he would have gone for Guard Rifle, some Guards Rifle Infantry, because the Guards Rifle Infantry is very good. But interesting enough, Breakalegs has not committed to that yet. So the question is he in fact planning that, or is he planning Reserve Army or Defensive? I feel like a Reserve Army would have gone for it soon, and similarly defensive, so I guess it still ends up being Guard Rifle, simply for the K1 and the air support, maybe the Howitzer as well there. But certainly could have had some Guard Rifle in that sooner, which I think would have been a significant thorn in the side here of Chiefs Tonkatsu. So far, the Breakalegs has got amazing map control here versus Chiefs Tonkatsu. All victory points, all fuel points, almost all munitions points as well. Like, he's got a good chunk of the map here, and it's definitely not something you want to like have hanging around for too long. There's the Germans because they can quickly grind you down. And we also got a second maximum water-cooled machine gun only for Breakalegs, the M1910. MG42 is the maximum, but both are being suppressed here. Gunnies will also soon be suppressed. This set, the rifle grenade here does give a bit of an advantage here, pushing back the maximum. Good for Chiefs Tonkatsu. The longer this is going on, though, it's going to be like other mechanized or Spearhead. It could still be encirclement, of course, which has been seeing apparently a slight surge in popularity as of late. It's not like super popular, but I'm actually like seeing like more and more players like at least have it in the commander lineup, even like they're not going to use it all the time, which is a bit interesting. Gunny's being pushed back by the maximum in the east. Back here at base for Chiefs Tonkatsu. Now the pack forward here again. They are aware of the resource situation and have probably already figured out, you know, they're probably going to get hit by tanks fast. And on a map like Amilly Fields, these can just, you know, opponent can push out tanks fast. It is due to the map's nature. You can't just, you know, park down one pack 40 and be, you know, all nice and safe. Like, there's a good plenty of maneuver routes to take for an opponent with a tank, meaning you probably will need more anti-tank guns. Of course, in most cases, you're still going to go for double anti-tank guns. It's part of the metagame, obviously, because double anti-tank guns is quite good. But certainly maps like Amilly Fields create a bit more necessity of it, because you're going to need to like have more fields of fire covered. The Senegal needs the advancing troops there for Breakalegs. Again, Flamethrower team backed up by conscripts. Chiefs and Cuts backing off, allowing the armored car to deal with engineers. Nice setup there. Mines these again, Breakalegs laying down a lot of mines, which does mean, you know, Guard Rifle is probably not going to see much Guard Rifle at least for some time, because all the munitions are going towards mines. Similarly, Reserve Army, probably not, because the submachine guns are, you know, going to drag away from the mines. West side here, better skirmish with some fuel pump. We've got a mortar for Chiefs Tonkatsu. A Granatenwerfer. Ready to challenge the Soviets there with German artillery fire there. Armored car MG4 that comes from the centre. West side here, Pioneers versus the Frontovics. Of course, got the field and the rate to bombard the MG42. Got lucky there with Chiefs and Cats, of course, start to reposition because there's only so much luck you can have against. There we go, Friedrich drops dead. T-Sun strike at the flank against the armored car. Pax repositioned here with the T-70. At the same time, got the max frontal flank here. MG42 returning the fire, but it's suppressed. Really good pushing so far, but Breakalegs, really good pressuring of Chiefs and Cuts, and crucially, really good fuel denying. And there we go. Mechanized on the company, and not too far from a T-34 some 6, or even a KB1 at this point. Meanwhile, Chiefs and Cuts, it could also take up soon and wouldn't theoretically be far away from the Stug, but of course, whether or not they go, there's another matter. 2 squads equipped so far with light machine guns, leaving only 1 to go. Gonna use the conscripts. No tech back at base there for Chiefs and Cuts as of yet. Manpower's definitely one of those particular spots that was currently feeling a bit of pressure. Sandbags wrecked, leaving Breakalegs infantry a bit more exposed out in the open east side. Another push for the fuel point there. Maximum crew there, caught in a bit of an awkward spot, and there we go. In the end, we do get Guards Rifle for Breakalegs. So again, no Guards Rifle at all. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it for the K1. Maybe a Howitzer, and of course, Sturmovik strafing runs. Could also use the advanced fortifications. Most players, though, never really make use of it. It can be certainly handy there with the anti-personnel mines, which are basically S-mines, but, you know, easy to lay down, and without the science giving it away. No tech yet there for Tonkatsu. Got some telemines here. Thumbs up to Tonkatsu. Got the T-70 as well. Abandoned, but I doubt he's going to try and grab it. He's going to destroy it. All the way. That's definitely helpful there for Tonkatsu. Breakalegs, though, is going to push for that K1 heavy tank, which will certainly be decently suited to take on the Pack 40s in-game. In the actual war, not so much. Ground the point here. Bit of bombardment here and there. Back at base, reinforcing and healing. Got another T on the way there for Tonkatsu finally for him and his sake. Grenade may have had ready. Wait, why are we shooting these fences and these hedges? Well, we need to clear lines of fire. Yeah, couldn't the pioneers do that with explosives or axes or something? Axes? What do you think we are, the axis powers? Hey, that sounds stupid. Engineers there, pioneers both suppressed. There's Maxims, machine guns on both sides here, pushing west with the armored car grenadiers here. Note he's taking a longer path here to flank behind the conscripts to defend the retreat path a bit more efficiently. Similarly, the grenadiers will take a slightly longer path as well. Much more like just force a fast retreat there. Sharp play by Tonkatsu. Mortar efficiency 1 with 1 kill. Breakalegs can go for the K1 heavy tank and does do so now. No, though by 1944-45 the K1 would have been replaced by the KV-85, which was basically a KV tank with a bigger, more armored turret with a bigger gun in it. It was basically the T-30-35 version of the KV series there. Uses the grenadiers in the east. Machine then bombarded. Almost wiped out there, in fact. Counter-strike for the 222 there. Another good push for Breakalegs against Tonkatsu. Tonkatsu so far though remaining without a commander, even as Breakalegs of course yet to reveal his, because while he has gone for Guard Rifle, he's so far shown no outward sign of a commander pick. Of course, if you sort of pay attention to what he's done and not been doing, you remember his commander choices, it's not too far at this point to assume your opponent has gone for Guard Rifle, and you haven't seen any Guard Rifle infantry. Monkey needs some Breakalegs, gets up a loss there. So Pomacop for Tonkatsu, and then you go K1 heavy tank out. There's the Maxim here. That's not going to look great for the guns. Do get a rifle grenade here. Not enough to bail them out, but almost enough to actually wipe out the Maxim entirely. And he's forced retreat for now. We got the KV-1 heavy tank ready to take over the spot there. Gunners being pushed back by the K1 heavy tank. Bit of bombardment here. MG42 moving up as well. East side here we got the Gunners, the conscript squad there. He needs to be murdered here by the Grenadiers. K1 falling a bit back here for Breakalegs. Pack 40 setting out. So, no Panther 4 yet, but can't go for it now. Or is he going to go straight for the Tiger tank here now? I mean, he obviously does have the double pack, but as always, you know, just going straight for a Tiger tank is fairly risky business. And risky, you know, your opponent gaining a significant, you know, resource and time advantage on the field. So, I mean, it's cool and all, but like, as always, I would strongly advise caution. Like always, I'd advise you getting at some sort of, you know, medium arm before going straight for the Tiger tank. Like, you know, a pair of Stugs, a pair of Panther 4s, you know, just a pair of medium anything. So like, you know, keep the front line occupied and ensure infantry doesn't bleed out too hard, but also ensure your opponent doesn't get too big an advantage while then get a Tiger tank. But it does seem like Tonkatsu at this point is very much thinking, I want the Tiger. Inform the cops, I want the Tiger. I want my precious Tiger tank. Barbed wire here, lots of barbed wire. They can be careful they don't wire themselves in with the Maxim. Okay, well, never seen some light repairs. Armored cars the conscripts, then moving up the eastern side, importing the centre. That's the conscripts. Got S mines here from Tonkatsu. A lot of mines from him now as well there. Needs to of course research the third battle phase before then call in the Tiger tank. A double coursing resource for that. K1 on the move here for Breakalegs. Guessing another K1 tank, which would certainly be a bit tough there for the pack to deal with. Mortar that's proving to be a fairly handy addition here. Messes up there with the Breakalegs positions. Can deploy smoke, of course, here. And also get a lot of kills in. 4 kills so far. That's only 2 there. All constables have been upgraded. We've got the Katyusha there for Breakalegs. Obviously want some rocket artillery. Could also go for a bunch of mortars or tanks. But, you know, at this point, so I was saying, in terms of certain metagame, like, you know, besides 3 constant engineers and a commander with guards rather than infantry, basically going for Katyusha after the first tank you get is like pretty much like this Soviet metagame. Field bombarding. Constantly being mauled out near with M42. Maximum there gang, that's into 1. Field being pushed back here as Tonkatsu putting up a good pressure around the centre of the west side. We've got troops planking up there. Pack shoots, hits the shed, but none of the Soviet armor. East side maximum about. Then east side we got engineers clearing up Tonkatsu's fairly large S1 field. We got the BM-13 Katyusha rocket truck out there for Breakalegs. Of course, the question is, can they utilize it to its full effect? Pantalas the K1, and of course more pack fire there. Going to force back Breakalegs. K1 heavy tank almost getting knocked out there, and really close call there. Really close call. Need to keep pulling all the way back to the base here. Katyusha fire though does push back here. Tonkatsu in the centre. Eastern point being seized there with engineers. West side could see a bit more action as well there for Breakalegs. At this point, you should also just be careful about just charging into the pack forwards. Like, he needs to like outmaneuver Tonkatsu here, who has the tier 4 almost research and can then press the Tiger tank button. Called in from a nearby 506th Schwere Panzerabteilung. And more or less there, just needs a bit of manpower. Decided to reinforce some units there. I'm a bit surprised that considering how close they were to the Tiger tank. They prioritized reinforcements over the Tiger tank, but oh well. As with Breakalegs, K1 there of course in dire need of repairs. Katyusha rocket launcher there with 3 kills so far. Got Breakalegs pushing up the centre course, looking I think to probe out Tonkatsu's current situation, get an idea how far I can sort of push against him. Moving up west side, there you go. Tiger tank is now over for Tonkatsu. Send in from nearby Schwere Panzerabteilung to support the Brandenburger Panzergrenadier, which was part of the Großdeutschland Panzerkorps. Initially it was a special operations unit, but at a certain point throughout the war, I think roughly around 1943, it basically got turned into a Panzergrenadier division. So, little fun fact there. Tank on the eastern side here, pin mounted infantry on the way there, engages the maximum crowd in the open, shoots and completely misses. Smoke being deployed around the centre by Tonkatsu's mortar crew. On the west side, bit of skirmishing there, Tiger tank roaming about. And with only 1 field gun and a KV tank there, it's going to be actually fairly tough for Breakalegs to sort of easily deal with the Tiger tank. Not impossible to deal with it at all, just it's going to be a bit tough for him to just quickly push it back. So this kind of ends up working out for Tonkatsu after all. In this regard, he probably is in fact exploiting the fact that most other players at this point will just go for Katyusha next. And while the Katyusha is great versus infantry support weapons, it's not exactly great versus Tiger tanks. That could arguably be said to be an interesting take on the metagame here by Tonkatsu and a reaction to the Soviet typical, you know, go for 1 tank, then go for Katyusha. But that said, he's still being fairly hesitant with the Tiger tank here. K1 tank little there, sandbags up. Packs on the move here. Back at base, nothing further happening there. He actually researched the mobilized reserves upgrade from the tank division command there. Ha! Guess I missed out on that one. That's actually super rare there. It's not necessarily bad though, it's just, you know, most of the players just push the mechanized armor company faster. I'm a bit surprised at that one. And I completely missed it too. That's it. Breakalegs is starting to suffer infantry losses. They need to replace them. Absolutely need to replace them. Of course, at this point, he's also going to want to get an HE5 to challenge the Tiger tank first, but he also needs more infantry because 2 squads of conscripts, even at 7 man, is not going to think sufficient for even like, you know, remotely competent map control here long term. Looking to destroy that maximum, though none of his gunners be the okay. Tiger tank lands a hit there, and the pack keeps missing though. Got it. Pulling back the Tiger Tank there for some repairs. West side Grenadiers could try and push the Western fuel point there under Breakalegs' command, but so far he might be worried about mines. Far East Grenadiers push back with the Maxim. Breakalegs, though, is starting to hurt here versus Tonkatsu. His early dominance there is starting to run into a few issues here versus Tonkatsu, partly again perhaps because of this read by Tonkatsu in the situation and then exploiting it well with the Tiger Tank. But now we got these far, things suddenly got a lot harder for the Tiger Tank. Though he still needs more infantry, Mr. Breakalegs. He still very badly needs more infantry. And certainly I think Tonkatsu could also benefit from a bit more infantry himself. I mean, 4 squads is what I call the optimal number of infantry squads. 3 is basically the bare minimum. So in which case 2 is just not enough. Ground Western point with the Grenadiers. He did push for the fuel point there. Tiger tanks once more good to go for Tonkatsu and the German army. Tiger tank slowly inching forward here for Tonkatsu. Back at base, so nothing further happening in his space. He could go for Stu to assist his Tiger tank versus Odama. He could also go for Osman, help with infantry, could just go for a Panther 4, which is the most likely, I think, pick out of 3 at the moment. He could, of course, also just go for Tier 4, built the Heavy Panzer Corps, built something out of that. So it's not like Tonkatsu is lacking in choice here versus Breakalegs. Breakalegs, though, still not calling in more infantry. At this point, if calling in some Guards Rifle infantry, I think would be a solid addition over the anti-tank rifle and the DP light machine guns. Could put some excellent pressure on his ponies. Let's go to another field gun. Obviously, here's a sign of the great concern he has around the Tiger tank. And he's decided just to be able to push it back swiftly, if not straight up destroy it swiftly. West side, he ground back the fuel point there for the glory of the Red Army. Could try and push for that eastern point. He'll be so concerned about Maxim still being around there. Field gun there, almost done. West side, we got the K warming up and flanking backed up there. She found some engineers. Field gun bombarding as well here, putting more and more pressure around Tonkatsu's center. Will he look to flank around? He will look to push straight ahead. He's got plenty of options to do because he can deploy smoke, which could definitely make the head-on defense a bit harder there for Breakalegs. But so far, though, Tonkatsu is being very cautious himself. He's not committing to any assaults at the moment. He's just, I think, trying to wait for him to for Breakalegs rather than trying to create one. Maximum Grenadiers in the center. More Katyusha fire from Breakalegs. This time Katyusha is not landing the best of hits here. Tonkatsu very smartly spreading out his forces somewhat thinly. And he does go for the Heavy Panzer Corps and a Panzerwerfer. Pushing east side up here. Tiger tank hitting a mine. Fun fact, at some parts in the war, the Germans would like to use Tiger tanks as mine sweepers, as apparently they could take the hits. They'll obviously need some serious repairs afterwards, but they could kind of take the hits. That's kind of like how well armored they were. Aircraft shot out of the sky by the 2-2. Nice work there by Tonkatsu's armor cut in reconnaissance. Then he's pinned down. He's of course fixed up the Tiger tank. Pack rest the K1 here. Armor car rhyming as well. T-34 on 6 Breakalegs finally starting to in some more tanks here versus Tonkatsu, though still, crucially, lacking, I think, insufficient infantry. Panther flying away there, total of 10 rockets. Comes they're caught in the center field, has been caught in the barrage. Some nasty losses here. Coming up there, 12 kills, east level. Pulling back units, reinforcement healing. Tiger tank's good to go. Then the west side of the Grenadiers on the car catching the continent. Pretty bad spot there for Breakalegs. Frontal Vix, his men there. Forced to scurry back as fast as possible. Fortunately for him, Tonkatsu is not trying to go for a wipe there. He might actually been able to pull it off here. Might, but it might have been a pretty small chance. Got the T-34 on 6 out there for Breakalegs and the Red Army. Tiger tank wipes the field and crew. That can then quickly be destroyed here by Tonkatsu. Definitely a problem there for Breakalegs. Almost got it. Now they're penetrating, hitting the Tiger tank's frontal armor. fails to destroy it, though the TIE tank keeps missing. The issue 5 just keeps hitting TIE. Oh, there we go. Finishes off then. Alright. That's a bit of a problem there for Breakalegs. T-Foot on the right flank. Quickly out the bunker and actually out the Chiefs Tonkatsu on the west side. Try and push to the point there. But both players can't hit that spot, but it's time to get Jose a bit more hesitant, a bit more cautious. Being less aggressive. And I think both are kind of waiting for the other players to like make a major mistake that can explode. You can see the finally the Breakalegs starting to like probe the right flank, which is very important. Got Max from the center here. Almost got the time to enter the field and gets a good shot through there. K1 pushing forward as well here. East side then T-Fed for clear out the bunker. Could try and drive further up behind. Chiefs to cover the pack forwards really right. He's going to force him. Or he's just going to keep pushing ahead here with it. Or he's going to try and drive straight in the pack forward, but I think he chose the wrong time for that. We do get a strafing run here, but yeah, lost the T-34 from 6. A nice idea there by Breakalegs, but unfortunately didn't quite work out. That said, this has created an opportunity for him to clear out the pack 40s anyways, thanks to the strafing run here. If he can destroy both packs, that would actually be pretty good here for Breakalegs. Sadly though, he doesn't quite clear out both of them and doesn't try to destroy them. Ultimately, he might end up losing the K1 as well here, which would be doubly bad here for Breakalegs. This K1 in fact taking a lot of hits. We've got a target weak point here. Seems like Breakalegs here is kinda floundering here. He's about to lose his K1 heavy tank, in fact. We got a Panther Barrage off here from Chiefs and Cutter onto the field gun bomb going off the machine. Packs here almost got a wipe, but doesn't lose the field gun, at least not to the Panther. Therefore, the Grenadiers do the deed and clear it out. Meanwhile, troops pushing forward, grabbing the MG42 there under Chiefs and Cutter's nose, but the TIE tank is right nearby. That's it. Plenty light cover here to make the machine gun just a bit harder to hit here. As well, light cover does not provide any, damage reduction bonus. It still provides a, accuracy bonus in sense of being harder to hit. So it can still help you get away from Tiger tanks somewhat easily under the right circumstances. Still got the mortar there, so still not amazing for Breakalegs, but I guess not entirely terrible either. The best would have been if we could clear up both pack 40s as well. If he grabs some mortar though, that would be handy for him as well. Still, I think Cheeston Cuts it slightly came ahead on that one. Then again, an MD42 insert service is definitely a nightmare for most German players, so that could still end up being a pretty big nightmare for Cheeston Cuts if Breakalegs can leverage that German MD42 as well as possible. 12 kills on the Katyusha. 73 points left. Cheeston Cut needs some for those victory points soon because there's also a massive gap between him and Breakalegs. Max on the center, coming forward. Got the Katyusha ready as well. T-34 ready. And K1 of course still being repaired. Needs to get both of these corps working on it so he can get into the fight faster. TIE tank with 16 kills. Veterans one in service of Deutsch and even merged the Maxim there. So thumbs up to Breakalegs. Smart move there. That's set. The TIE tank is a massive issue there. Issue 5 holding back. And there you go. Panther fire there. Wipes Breakalegs. Maxim machine leaving just with the MG42. Meanwhile, Chiefs and Cuts bringing a Panther on the west side here. T-Fed forces going for the goes. We've got the pack 40 to deal with that. In the center, Chiefs and Cutter goes forward with a Tiger tank blitzkrieg here. Straight to the H5's line of fire, which gets a good shot there through the side arm of the Tiger tank. And the west side, the T-Fed force being pushed back. Here's the packs pursued aggressively here. Chiefs and Cuts is feeling quite confident here at the moment, certainly indicating that he at least feels like he came out of that previous engagement fairly well. The back in from Breakalegs, I think, continues to be a significant issue for him. Got the Katyusha fire. He almost got one of the packs wiped out there. Fortunately for Chiefs and Cuts, most rockets just kind of go off the mark here and ultimately fail to wipe the pack. That said, they could still be easily wiped. A quick follow-up attack here by Breakalegs tank. Tiger tank moving forward here. Chiefs and Cuts once more on the offense for Deutschland. Packs and Tiger tank. They're firing at the K1 tank. Shots either bringing off the shell or going straight through the armor, causing the crew quite a bit of discomfort. Chiefs and Cuts now, I think, with a much stronger situation on the map here versus Breakalegs, and they've pretty much had throughout the entire match. There definitely needs to be, I think, a significant change in tactics and strategy from Breakalegs, and he needs more infantry. Again, I cannot stress enough, just 2 conscript squads is just not enough. I'm still surprised at the sheer lack of guard rifle, considering they're just really, really good. Katyusha there needs some light repairs, but nothing hugely necessary at the moment. Back at base here, Tonkatsu reinforcing healing. Attack tank receiving repairs. Of course, 2 pioneers called March, we can quickly do that job. Pushing westwards the maximum, the T-34 from 6. K1 heavy tank being repaired. East side counter pushing for the eastern fuel point there. But what is Breakalegs scheming next? I do not know, but he's starting to again avoid the center more, pushing more towards flank. Oh! Got him, Himmel! That was a big blunder there with Tonkatsu. He was definitely expecting Breakalegs not to be that aggressive. Fortunately for him, the accuracy of the T-34 gunner completely whiffed there, allowing the Panzerwerfer to survive that. That said, he's going for a pretty deep flank. I think he's going to try and take it out here. We got a strafing run inbound on the packs most likely. He's going to outmaneuver them here. Panzer taking heavy damage here. Could still take out the Panzerwerfer here. There he goes, strafing run. Wipes the mortar. Almost got the Panzerwerfer here. But he's taking a lot of damage on his T-34. Meanwhile, can he get rid of it? I don't think so. Shot fired on target tank. Misses. T-34 knocked out. Awkward there for him. And we got the 85 also missing the Panzerwerfer. My God. That has got to be the luckiest Panzerwerfer I've ever seen. Since all it takes is like one shot from T-34 and they should to take out and just both missed. More T for the Breakalegs, into pushing through the center. God, it's actually needs doing most of the fighting here. MD4 to the top of the gun is being murdered out in the open. Packs at the ready. We've got a fragmentation bomb unleashed. Tonkatsu calling in the Luftwaffe to shatter the Soviet lines. Instead, hit some of the armor. They're actually pretty bad for Breakalegs. One front of the 2 packs. Following up the target weak point, his course senses a good opportunity to deal damage and knock out the H-25 there. Thumbs up to Tonkatsu. Breakalegs loses the tank destroyers. Breakalegs is now in a truly horrific position. He's lost the T-34 and the H-25 without really landing any huge blows here to Tonkatsu. That is devastating. He's finally calling in some Guards Rifle infantry 37 minutes into the game. That's got to be some of the latest Guards Rifle infantry I've seen in a match. The slowest. But that Panzerwerfer was absurdly lucky though. Nothing short of absurdly lucky. My God, oh, I should take part in the lottery. Fritz, don't. There's not even a lottery anywhere in like within 100 kilometers, 1,000 even. Counter pushing westwards there. Panther on the move. Close between the target tank, but right now Tonkatsu is looking very strong here. I mean, it's obviously still very low on victory points. Still, like Breakalegs could still in theory sneak in and win there that way, but as Tonkatsu is locked down the map, that becomes much harder for Breakalegs. He's gonna like have to sharpen up his tactics and his luck, I guess, when it comes to that Panzerwerfer. Graham needs some victory on the west side. He got him being absolutely mauled out in the open. They do need cover, and they do need a bit of support here. Gun is right in the east here, met with a rather large force from Breakalegs. What will Tonkatsu go for next? He's more or less at full pop cap almost, so it's not like he can go for a lot here. He could, I suppose, try and go for a Panther or Sturmpanzer. Got a Stude 3G there for Tonkatsu. That is also an excellent addition. Thumbs up to that. Mines down here in the east. Betting 2K1 heavy tank. I guess he's going to go for another H-5 tank here versus Tonkatsu, whose target tank is actually very close to 32, which is definitely bad news for Breakalegs forces, in particular the infantry, as the target tank there too becomes significantly more accurate versus infantry, plus it gains a range bonus. Another great from the target tank, there we go, veteran T2 gained. Target tank almost enough for Tonkatsu. Almost done. Shoots at the MG42 there. I'm guessing Breakalegs is going to go for another tank destroyer. We got the Stude 3G there ready for Tonkatsu. On the west side here we got the conscript being attacked with the Panzer IV again. The lack of anti-tank assets here for Breakalegs is proving to be a significant issue right now, damaging the Panzer IV at least. Tank range position. Got the Stude 3G running to the front line here for Tonkatsu. He's still under 48, so he can't relax. He has to play this still like, you know, At any moment, Breakalegs could, break his legs. In the end, going back to bleeding out down to 45 points. Again, the situation in some ways could theoretically look clear-cut, but the thing is, with the victory point so low, any mistake here, any good push from Breakalegs could still, at least for a brief time, give Breakalegs the chance to win this match. Got the usual 5 there for Breakalegs on the way. Retreats a bit too fast, I think. But he's got the comfortable rate to win, I guess, to grab the point anyways, it doesn't matter. So there we go, 39. The bleed continues here on Tonkatsu versus Breakalegs 38. Another field gun away for cancels the H5 for field gun. That's an interesting choice there. Perhaps it's the side of the Stuke here. The Stuke can certainly help deal with the H5 fairly easily, whereas the field gun is very difficult for the Stuke to clear out. K1 being flanked by the Tiger Tank here, 29 kills. The Tiger Tank is definitely going to be a good investment here for Tonkatsu, that's for sure. A very good investment. Contract with the knees being mauled out in the open. MD4 trying fast support here. Stu calling back so far. Not a lot of targets. Got the field gun out there for Breakalegs. It's Katyusha by way of Veteran 2 there. Punch there with close to Veteran 2, but not quite there. Got the infantry being flanked by the Tiger Tank. Control flanking the Grenadiers. 300 versus 29. Victory point is still very favoured here for Breakalegs, though that lead is slowly crumbling away here, very slowly. Sandbags in the centre there. Breakalegs look to fortify an angle. Guardsmen flanking the Stuke. They're not a great position for Tonkatsu's Stuke here, and not a great position. Comes the Tiger Tank here. What is Breakalegs planning next? I do not know. Another Panther barrack around the centre here, right at the support weapons. Wipes the Conscript squad, leading back to 2 Infinite squads. That is not good. He almost got the MD42 as well there. That was a hell of a Panzerwehr barrage here from Tonkatsu. Tiger Tank themselves, a damage engine is crucial, also isolated from Russia's forces. There's actually a chance here Breakalegs could destroy Tonkatsu's Tiger Tank, at which point the situation for Tonkatsu would certainly get a bit tougher here. But there you go. He lost the Katyusha as well there, as now Tonkatsu goes for deep flank here with the Panzer IV exploiting, again, Breakalegs like infantry, but also field control increasingly. That is a really good push here by Tonkatsu against Breakalegs. Tiger Tank there, halfway to victory, 39 kills. Tiger Tank, okay, one being flanked by the Panther 49 Betty 2. Stuke diving in as well for Deutschland. Guardsman nearby, field gun. Can't easily turn around to assist the K1 there. K1 almost knocked out with the Panther 4. Main gun out. Ace level on the K1 here. Stuke in a bit of trouble. So is the Panther 4. Like everything they got is in trouble. German armor is about to combust any moment now. In great numbers. You could take out the Panther 4 here. Stuke continues forwards. K1 misses. Oh, the field gun turns around too fast to line the Panther 4 to slip past it. Stuke knocked out. Can he take out the Panther 4? No, we got Grenadiers coming in. We'll clear out the field gun if he tries to take it out there. That was fairly intense here. Can easily, I think, spell to silence there for Tonkatsu. We lost the Tiger Tank and the Panther, at least either of them on top of the Stuke here. That was really intense. That was a pretty high-risk gambit here by Tonkatsu, but he kind of worked out in the end. You did get rid of the Katyusha, which definitely limits Breakalegs' ability to further harm his forces. K1 though is threatening fully, but he's been playing it fairly conservatively. He's also needs to get it fixed up faster. Moving on the centre there, engineers basically there, of course. Another Panther 4 there for Tonkatsu. Tiger Tank in dying repairs the Panther 4 there with 5 kills, 32. Tiger Tank with 41 kills. And the Tiger Tank has ultimately proven to be a fairly good investment here for Tonkatsu this match. Field and then getting 22. Panzer fire off here. .24 kills, but 22. He is, of course, doing anything he can within his power to ensure the centre victory point doesn't fall into Breakalegs' hands. H5 tank destroy again. Tiger Tank is almost fixed up here for Tonkatsu and the German army. Moving on the centre here, sandbags up. Tiger Tank flanking up there, sandbags of course destroyed, ruined. Should pop some in. Appears going to help deal with the German infantry. Honestly, it's a great ability. Tend to get overlooked by so many players, even German ones. strafing run in here. TIE tank shoots bounce off the TIE tank's armor content to the flank here. Strafing run is still inbound, but what angle? Who's going to hit? It's going to fire the gunnies in the center, ignore them on the flank. They're getting molotov. The Pack 40 moving up here. MD4 control. Pack 40 up in the Ace K1 there. TIE tank with 44 kills is getting very close to the ace level there. And a possible nightmare to become real there for Breakalegs. Now we got the Pan Force through the center of the field. Finally got the H5 running on the scene here. Shot bounces off the TIE tank. K1 gets a shot through Garten running here. Got a Blitzkrieg maneuver here as Tonkatsu moves ahead for Deutschland. Strikes for Reich as Breakalegs tank destroyers and fields being overwhelmed here by the German armor. Got the H5 tank destroyer here. Tiger tank is very close to the ace level. Panther Force about to get knocked out of the field, and it's just not helping much here. Pack 40 is firing to the rear flame finish, trying to let the Pack 40 got the Panther 4. K1, they're striking off shots here. Tiger tank, half health here. Panther 4 is knocked out, but so near ace, but so is the KB1 here. Field gun in trouble, so is the Tiger tank. Could he get the Tiger tank? Oh dear. It's a complete disaster for both sides, possibly. Pack's about to get wiped out here. Grenadiers rushing, but still got the Panzerwerfer. Tiger tank there gets knocked out as it hits the ace level. The lack of infantry, I think, doing this assault proved to be crucial there, getting Breakalegs just enough time to perhaps beat down. Oh, never mind! We see the guardsmen and engineers almost wiped out. A ruthless Panzerwerfer barrage from Tonkatsu leaves Breakalegs guardsmen completely buried and sundered. Absolute brutality here. Absolute vicious brutality. Both sides have taken heavy losses, but crucially, Tonkatsu is slightly better off due to having more infantry, whereas Breakalegs is down just one squad of infantry now. Breakalegs, on top of needing more armor, needs more infantry. This is an absolute slaughter of a match here. Absolute slaughter. And what was that? Comes the Grenadiers. Panther almost done it for Tonkatsu. K1 there for Breakalegs. Honestly, at this point, I think you should just go for T-34 from 6. You just need something that is cheaper and faster in terms of getting onto the field. And again, allow him to get more infantry faster because, again, he needs more infantry. You also need to push in that eastern victory point with aiming for 2, honestly, instead of keeping him up there by the mission point. Got the Panther rolling head. Got another Panther barrage here from Tonkatsu. And really, that Panther has proven to be an absolutely hellmaker here for Tonkatsu, and is really, I think, leaving Breakalegs fairly salty that that T-34 from 6 and the H5 missed it during that previous engagement. 32 kills, near ace level. That Panzerwerfer is definitely going the distance that most Panzerwerfers will never ever go. Almost got the center victory point here. Field on the move and use ground the point here. K1 tank almost done here. And there we go. Clearment for Ishlov. 1 heavy tank on the way there for Breakalegs. Could go for T-34 from 6 next. He could also go for the H5, I suppose. But I think he just needs more tanks to like hit Tonkatsu's infantry support weapons. Got the Panther from eastwards. But he also needs more infantry. Like just one squad of infantry is absolutely insufficient. Absolutely. Panther got Nissan straight into the field gun here. K1 moving up the center. Need to mark those Pack 40s where they're constantly positioned. Got the info team Grenadiers on the east side. And there you go. Pack's going for the K1 heavy tank, very obviously. K1 being put back for repairs. Not needs them heavily. Got a Panther barrage here against the MD42. Doing heavy damage. The K1 kind of absorbs some of the damage here, which I guess is helpful for the machine gun crew. What is he planning next? Is he going to go for another K1 here? Shoots a few pioneers, but again, those packs are a problem. Got the mortar back in action here for Tonkatsu by the way. And he does, in fact, go for another K1 heavy tank. He does go for a second K1 heavy tank now. Good lord. He still needs more infantry very badly. Almost got the mortar crew there. Smug on info 2. Good work there by Tonkatsu. Could go for another panther for a few moments. Could go for Stug. The crazy thing we're trying to, I think, go for another tank now. K1 there, almost done. Like, you can catch the Pack 40s off guard with the double K1s. You could possibly actually break Tonkatsu's legs. Nothing needs to go on the way there, of course. You need to be careful about how he moves. The Pack 40 course need to stay clear of the Pack 40s. Pack misses there, field bombarding. Another Panther barrage around the center again. Near ace level, 39 kills. That Panzer has just been raking in the kills here for Tonkatsu. K1 up the other side here. That's again 2 heavy tanks here for Tonkatsu to deal with. Will be difficult, but not impossible. If they're going to deal with the Pack 40s here, maybe? No. Oh, that whiff. That was a complete whiff of the shot. Another machine gun here for Tonkatsu finally. You could actually try and like push for the western point. We could clear out the bunker and open up the western point here. That could actually make things much harder for Tonkatsu because the bunker effectively ensures he can just focus most he has on the center. Meaning he can much more easily defend a large amount of territory. So I really think Breakalegs should try and dispatch some forces to deal with that bunker so he can actually force Tonkatsu to defend a wider swath of territory, which again, with only 22 victory points left, it's going to be much more risky for him than just having to defend like effectively like 1 point, which is kind of what he can do now. Do get a strafing run here. There we go. Panther absorbs a lot of the shots he's seeing the Pack from front. Breakalegs got almost wiped out here, but also gets away. Ace field gun crew will have to retreat for reinforcements healing. K1 now being fixed. 22 is 160. Conquering mauled by German mortar fire here, and I think Tonkatsu might in fact be stalling for a second Tiger tank. Good God. Another Panther barrage can gain ace level 43 kills. Truly, this is the luckiest of the Panzerwerfers. Not only to survive, but T-34 and the Nation 5 shooting at it. It's also just raked up so many kills. He's going to send in units for the corps to be able to deal with the machine gun bunker on their own. They need armor support. I think he's spotted import back there. You could still theoretically clear it up by flanking up here and then getting up behind and laying down a demo charge. Then you go for the victory points. It's technically not impossible out of tank, but he's not going to do it. Ah, dear. So you can see that Tonkatsu needs some point. He can bring the K1s to deal with them. Still not a lot of infantry for Breakalegs in the Red Army. We got 22 still, but 144. Tonkatsu almost has to fill with the Tiger tank. Manpower-wise, it's going to be a few more minutes. Match is also approaching the 1 hour mark. An absolute marathon of a match. Constantly provided with the Panther gun, he's bringing as well here. Anything suppressed the main 42 ace level. Could pop into him up here around here again so far. Breakalegs just hasn't used the ability. There you go. Another Panzerwerfer barrage here from Tonkatsu. Another hailstorm of death. And the MD-42 gets completely snuffed out. Field gun crew's about to get wiped with one of these as well here. Breakalegs once more being put into a precariously awful position here by Tonkatsu, who is steadily sailing towards a second Tiger tank. Mines for the Eastern point here. Another T-34 for Breakalegs, still though crucially short on infantry. 100 points left, 90 to be specific was the 22 of Tonkatsu. Mines in the east here for Breakalegs. Match is grinding on. K1 was the Panther 4. Telemine there, could 3% off on the Panther 4 was unlucky. Tonkatsu cutting close to that Tiger tank. He's also got a fragmentation bomb ready. T-34 almost done there for Breakalegs. Pushing westwards there, finally getting more aggressive on the west. They're just sending in the Pioneers. not committing the infantry, which is so far is practically keeping reserve here to respond to like any major push by his opponent. And there you go, T-34 ready. Breakalegs has been able to restore his armoured forces for the most part, but the infantry component is still very much non-existent. Meanwhile, Tonkatsu is moments away from the second Tiger tank, which could very well break Breakalegs back. And there we go, Tiger tank number 2 at the 55-minute mark. Strafing run on the centre here, clearing out one of the machine crews here. Panther on the far here, we've got the K1 flanking and then the Grenadiers as well here. Other tanks need to get moving quickly. And engineers are being murdered by the Grenadiers, and so again the lack of infantry is forcing some engineers to do the fighting where they really aren't good. And there you go, T-34 on the flank here. Panther barrage off here from Breakalegs, or Tonkatsu and Breakalegs, 49 kills, flanking the Panther. K1s are not doing a lot here though. Tiger tank, there's a ramming here, it's going to turn. Breakalegs, T-34 flank into, well, nightmare here as the Tiger tank punches straight through it at the front line. There we go. T-34 knocked out here. Then is being mauled here. We got a Phantom Change Bomb unleashed on Breakalegs. Engineers, in fact, he's got next to nothing left now. The Red Army in this sector seemingly has been shattered as Tonkatsu has very much remained, well, fairly firm and not quite unyielding. Almost got the K1 here with the Tiger tank, and there you go, Breakalegs surrenders. A loss for the Red Army, a brutal win for the German Army. A fierce battle here with a lot of losses on both sides, but in the end, Tonkatsu came through, partly I think better tactical approach on the map. Bit of luck obviously, but also I think better force composition. I think Breakalegs also failed to fully utilise his command. Again, didn't get gas rifle infantry could have, didn't have enough infantry times, but also, you know, crucially allowed Tonkatsu, like, you know, basically allowed machine gun bank to hold the western victory point. I think had Breakalegs cleared out and started pushing on the western victory point, he could have won this match, but he kind of got tunnel vision, and Tonkatsu was able to exploit that quite well. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell enemies. This is unrelenting. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Until tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.